Good morning, everybody. I wanted to take a second and answer some questions and also confirm, does rotational grazing actually work? So stay with us. All right, guys, I'm just going to show you the cows while we're working them. They've just got this fresh piece of grass here today. Let's talk about, does rotational grazing work? And I, of all people, was somewhat skeptical. However, I jumped with both feet in from the very first day of actually starting the farm here about a year ago. Wow, it's been a little over a year now. And when I first started, I didn't own any of these cows. I actually talked to the farmer who was using the property here. My dad had it leased out to another farmer, and he had a lot of farms he was taking care of. He had a lot of leased property. So I talked to him, and I said I'd really want to get interested in farming. He knew I was wanting to take this over whenever his lease expired, and he was perfectly fine with that. But so I kind of asked him, can I practice? And I called it practice because that's basically what it was. It was just, can I attempt to run some cows in this rotational grazing system? And I didn't know exactly what that system looked like or the best way to do it. But my cousin in West Tennessee does the same sort of practice and uses rotational grazing and moves his cows twice a day. I am still a once a day mover. I just don't have the I do have to drive out here to the farm every day to I don't live here on the property, so it's a little bit more of a trek for me. But I started moving them, and we saw good things out of the cows. We saw a lot of really good success out of the calves that were coming out of those cows, and it was success in the fact that at least I didn't kill anything. I didn't hurt any of the cows. The cows were still healthy. Some of them didn't breed back, unfortunately, but that was somewhat due to the genetics that we're working with here. Obviously, these are Black Angus cows, and we are looking to go toward the South Pole breed. So all of these cows that are in here now are bred to have a 50% South Pole calf toward the end of this year. So does it work? Yes. And let me show you, this is some of our grasses here, and I did a video that said we're thankful for our weeds, or we have weeds and glad for them, some title like that in the video, where this was a whole bunch of weeds and briars and basically not the best forage. Right now, this is a whole lot of fescue. There's a lot of clover. I'll show you here on the ground. There's still a lot of buttercups in this part of the paddock, but there's a gate right here. So this is kind of a worn down area. Unfortunately, that's just the way of a gate. And then the cows love rubbing their heads on that little side whenever they're going through that field as well. So it doesn't help. But what we did was we unrolled hay in this side of the field, and it has certainly healed the ground back to where it's nice and green. Obviously it's in spring, so it should be green, and we have a nice stand of forage. Now, what I have to tell myself is, don't be deceived by these tall fescue strands that come up and have a seed head at the top. Folks, that looks pretty, but the real forage that these cows are eating are on the bottom, and you have to be able to get through that seed head at the top to really know how much forage you have. But yeah, is it worth it? Yeah. Does it take a lot of time? That's the number one question that I am asked. How much time does it take you to move these cows every day? This morning, This was toward the end of a paddock, of a long strip move. And sometimes I'll do 4 days of just moving the wire down. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how big of a paddock you're giving them sometimes. And then also if you have to set up a boundary line, like this right here is a boundary line. It goes back to a pond back there, and then they have not touched this field because we have the boundary line to make sure they are grazing where I want them to be. And sometimes I don't put a back fence, which means they could go back to the grasses on that back side over there, but they won't because they've already pooped, they've already peed. Nobody likes eating salad that's already been touched by somebody else, and especially not in that way. So that's kind of the main thing. We're just focused on keep moving them forward, and after 4 days though, they need to have a new strip or a new section, because in 4 days grass can start growing back, and they'll go back to that new grass that they were on 4 days ago. If you don't move them and get them off of that, they'll go back to it and they'll eat the very beginning sproutlings, and they'll kill the plant. And we got to make sure we protect those plants by using this hot wire. So yeah, hang on one second, we're going to show you some more updates on the farm. All right, so let's talk about water lines a little bit. New thing here on the farm is we are running water lines through all of our fields, and basically in these we're going to put like what they put down to little covers for your water meter or your cutoff valve at your house and everything. We're kind of putting those in, and what's underneath those covers are quick connects, so that we can connect a wire, not a wire, we can connect a trough to our water line. And right there is one of them. Let me show you this here. So right here we're going to have a ball water. We're going to have 4 ball waters across all 150 pasture acres here. And the goal of that is to be able to protect our cows during the winter. The trough could freeze up if we have a really hard freeze, but a ball water, we can keep that pretty freeze resistant. So but yeah, in these boxes right here, quick couplers are not in yet, but we're looking forward to having those and be able to just lift that lid up and be able to plug our trough right in. And then we're able to have another one every 300 feet, or 300 yards is what we're going to do. Nope, I said wrong, 300 feet. And we're going to be able to plug in to a water source, so that we don't have to worry about doing all these fences and making sure our cows can get to a pond here, and then making sure that the pond is semi-clean, so we don't have to worry about worms and all the other bad stuff that could happen to our cows. But yeah, that's another exciting thing that's going on the farm. Very happy that the natural resource folks are helping us out with this. It is a program that is it's kind of like a partial buy-in. They pay for 75% to 50 to 75% of the expense to put all this in, and it's going to help out our farm. It's going to save me a lot of time as far as moving the cows, because I won't have to run as many fences to make sure they can get back to a pond. And honestly, it's going to make the rotational grazing piece more efficient and more effective. It's going to be able to have us lock in cows to a certain area. And yeah. Guys, thanks so much for joining us today, and hope that you liked the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.